I just like to know stuff about people. And I think the biggest reason is because I feel like if I can learn about you, like there's got to be something I can take away from that and like integrate into my own life. That is basically how I feel like my entire life has been, is just a conglomerate of all the people I've met along the way that I've admired, and I've taken the little things that I've admired about this person and that person and this person, and I just integrate it in my own life. And I feel like there are definitely specific things I can point back to specific people, and that's why I'm doing them now. You are listening to Feminine Will, powered by Sweatseat. I'm Andrea McKee. This is a show about women who choose athleticism, adventure, and bravery every day. Thanks for listening. Hello, and welcome back to Feminine Will. Today we have a fun episode because do you remember Mazey, who came on the show a couple of weeks ago? She is 17 years old and she did a 50-miler. I was so impressed by her, and we ended up having a lot of fun talking. And she decided she wanted to interview me. She reminds me a lot of myself in that I always love to learn about people and find out about who they are and what they did to kind of get to where they are and some of the things that they're doing that they love. So I think that is kind of what drove her as she talked about wanting to interview me. And I was honored and so excited for her to do this. So I hope you enjoy the episode of hearing about me, the host of Feminine Will. And of course, a quick word from the sponsor, Sweatseat. The Sweatseat is a seat cover designed for athletic and adventurous women. It is super compact, machine washable for over 300 washings, and of course, it's stylish. It's durable, it's absorbent on one side, waterproof on the other side, so it's going to protect your seat 100%. You don't have to worry about that. It's really, really easy to put on and off. No buckles, clips, or snaps. You can just throw it in the washing machine whenever you feel like it's dirty enough to wash. And then when you're not using it, you can just roll it up into the headrest of the Sweatseat and then put it in your car door or under your seat. I'm really proud of the design, and it's patent pending. It's one of the things that I have made that I'm just so incredibly happy with how it's turned out. As a runner and someone who likes to go swimming, I just wanted to get in my car and not feel like I was going to get it wet or gross from my sweat. I just wanted to protect my seat. When I looked on the market to try to find something that I liked, it just felt like there wasn't anything that had all the things I wanted. They either were missing a headrest, or they weren't waterproof, or they were just ugly, or they didn't roll up very compactly and you could just see, you had to like store them on your floor or in your seat or in your trunk. I just wanted something that I could easily reach to and put on and take off and then be done with, and that I didn't have to wait forever for it to dry. And when I used to carry a towel in my car, I just got really tired of seeing the towel. It just was kind of bulky and ugly. So all of the design aspects of Sweatseat have taken into account all of these frustrations that I've had. And now I have just released a fourth design. It is called the Unicorn, and it's so fun. It's beautiful. It comes in white and black, and both white and black are both very easy to wash. The white, some people might be worried about the white, and maybe it doesn't, if you go out in the mud or whatever, that maybe it wouldn't come up, but it actually does. I designed them so that they would be long lasting and they wouldn't just look dingy. If you need something like this to help get your summer on the right foot and to make sure you're protecting your seats this summer, then head on over to sweatseat.com. Pre-orders for the Unicorn are up, and the first shipment will go out on June 22nd. That's just almost 2 weeks away. So go check it out, the Unicorn. All of the Sweatseats are made locally here in Atlanta, Georgia. SWETSEAT.com. Go check it out. I just quickly want to say that I am 100% in support of Black Lives Matter. And I want to do everything I can to help do away with the systemic injustices that continue to occur. And I started the other day, one of the things that I did was have a conversation with my 3-year-old about skin color and what it means to be human. It was a really beautiful conversation and the first of many. I just want to say that I have learned a lot from people's posts and from reading over the last few weeks. I feel like if the riots and unpeaceful protests hadn't happened, that we might not be as far as we have come with learning about what Black people are really going through and what kind of racism we and implicit biases that we just don't even realize. So for that, I'm grateful because I feel like it kind of made people pay attention. And some people think that's sad and that the riots and unpeaceful protests shouldn't be happening. And I am here to just say that it's time to listen and it's time to show compassion and to learn and try to understand how we can change the things that brought them to the point where their response was these riots. It's been interesting for me to hear how some of my white friends have responded to these riots by criticizing them, and I personally do not feel like that's what we should be doing. I don't feel like we should be criticizing. Instead, I feel like we should be listening. I feel like we should be reaching out and trying to understand and learn and change. And to me, yes, the riots are sad, but not because they're rioting, because of what has brought them to this breaking point where that is the response. The focus for me is not the riots. The focus for me is not the unpeaceful protests. The focus for me is, okay, what is the root of this? And what did we collectively do to bring this on? And that, to me, is the bigger, more important question. So I guess what I would just say is keep learning. And now, the conversation with Mazey.
I've switched places with you today because I'm going to interview you.
Which is really fun. It's really fun. Like, I just love that you wanted to. Like, this is such a blast for me.
Yeah, well, and we were talking, and you just seemed like the coolest person. So I'm like, we got to tell everybody about you. You can't just interview all these other really cool people because you're one of them.
That's so sweet.
Anyways, okay, so I wrote down some questions that you were telling me about yourself and some things that I might have and that other people might have. So to start off, I guess I'll start with, you were telling me that you signed up for some dance class.
Oh, yeah.
And you said that you had really liked to do that your whole life. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, so growing up, I actually wanted to be, like, my whole life, I loved dancing. When I was little, my friend would like teach me songs that she would teach me dances that she learned from her from like the dance studio where she was learning dance. She was taking like jazz and she was taking contemporary, I think. And she would teach me those dances. We were like 10, and then we would perform them for my family. We'd like make them, pudding, and we'd say, come out and watch us, and we'd set up chairs, and then we would perform the dance for them.
That's so cute.
And then I got into high school. My family just couldn't afford dance lessons. And plus, yeah, so it was kind of like when I got into high school, I just decided I was going to try out for like our high school Miss Magnificent contest. And we had to learn a dance routine in that one. And it was so much fun. Like, I had such a blast doing that. And I thought, like, I kind of wanted to study dance in college, but I thought, no, I'm too old. Like, everybody else has done it. And everybody starts when they're, like, little girls. And I just thought that I would be super behind in dance classes. And I think I let my insecurity kind of get in the way of that. So instead of being like, no, I'm just going to try it and I'm just going to do it because I want to, I took like one dance class, and I remember it was hard for me to learn the routines because it was my first one. my first dance class. And then after that, I thought, maybe I'm just not cut out, to do dancing, which is ridiculous now that I look at it, because it's like you take one dance class, you can't judge yourself off of that. It's like my first time trying something. Like, you're going to suck at first. That's okay. And so later on, like as time went on, I just kept thinking, like, maybe I should take a dance class. And I have that same friend that I was telling you about that we used to dance when we were 10. She was like taking aerial dance classes and all these dance classes. And I was like, maybe I should do something like that. Cause I was kind of getting to a point where even though I enjoyed running, it wasn't something I like loved doing as much anymore. Like, I'd done, quite a bit of running my whole life since 8th grade. And I kind of just got to a point where I wanted to do something different. But finally, like recently in March, I had just interviewed like a month prior Key Tibbs, who is one of the earlier episodes on this show. And she was like, oh, you should just take a dance. You should just if you want to dance, you should just dance. And she was going after herself. And I thought, okay. So I went online that night and I like signed up for a dance class locally, for an adult dance class. And then my first dance class that was scheduled was when the studio shut down for COVID-19.
Oh no.
And so I was like, okay, that's fine. And I like found out that the classes that you don't get to take during COVID-19 they'll just like roll over and you can use them later. So I thought, well, I'll just keep my membership and use the classes later, and then I can do like 2 or 3 classes a week. So once they open up again. So I think they open up June 1st. And I'll probably, yeah. So I signed up for hip hop, and I'm going to just try a bunch of different things. And I actually, one cool side note about that is that my back had been hurting for a while, and I'd been trying to figure out like what's wrong with it. And I called the dance studio, and I just kind of, was asking questions about like, about my membership. And she said, you should just take the dance stretch class. If anything, like just do that as often as you can, and it will help you and prepare you for when you come back. And I started doing it, and guess what? My back stopped hurting.
No way.
Yeah, I guess my body just needed to stretch out more. And it needed to stretch out in different ways. And so I just, it was wild. I really did not expect that. So
that's really cool. And it kind of led you back into dancing again, so it wasn't quite abrupt. You were kind of getting a little taste, and then you're gonna start soon here.
Yeah. Yep.
That's cool. Are you excited for it?
I am excited for it. Like I think like my husband's going to be going back to work soon, so I'll probably be planning like mostly evening classes, and I'm just excited to just do more and to move more. And I just love music and dancing so much. Like, I do not care where I am. I am one of those people who, if I'm in the middle of the grocery store, or if I am like the only person who, like, if I'm somewhere like on a dance cruise, which I was last year in San Diego, like, I was the only person out there on the floor dancing for a while because people have to like loosen up or whatever. Not me. Like, I hear a song I like and I am out there dancing to it. I do not care what anybody thinks. And so
that's so awesome.
So I
just have that confidence.
Yeah. So I remember growing into that confidence when I was about 14, but like wanting that confidence, and I got it like after just practice. And I remember practicing certain moves in front of the mirror, like when I was 14, and I just wanted that confidence. And so I like made it happen for myself. And now I'm just like, I do not care where I am and who's around. Like, I am that person out there dancing.
That's so cool. So did you have to kind of work at it emotionally to have that confidence, or did you just kind of, it naturally came as you practiced more and got better at dancing?
So there were a couple of people that I knew like along the way who, I remember 1 or 2 people in particular, and I used to go to dances often. Like, we had dances for my church like every couple of weeks growing up. And I remember going to these dances and like feel like I don't know what I'm doing. And I didn't like feeling that way, and I would look at my friends like these two girls in particular who just had all the confidence in the world to just like do whatever they wanted, and they were having so much fun, and I loved to dance, but I just felt weird doing it in front of everybody. And so I actually like prayed a lot. I was like, I really want to get good at dancing, and I want to feel confident in dancing. And so I started practicing certain moves that I would see maybe them do. And I would practice in front of the mirror, and I would just be like, Andrea, it's okay. Like, you just dance, you just move. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. And I had to really kind of coach myself through it. And then I'd go to these dances and I would try something. And I feel like it was that kind of, I don't know how long it took me, like maybe a few months, to where I was just like totally confident. And then after that, people would be like, they would come up to me and be like, wow, you're such a good dancer. And I'd be like, well, thanks. Even though I was just making stuff up. But it was because I knew I had like a love for music, and I knew I had a love for movement. I just hadn't been confident before to like make them both happen. But I think just with practice in front of the mirror, that helped me gain confidence, but also just like really seeking out, like, for me, it was through prayer to just like figure out how to be more confident and be more comfortable in my own skin.
That's so cool. Yeah, because I think a lot of people go through that where they feel like they don't have that confidence, and I think a lot of people have to work on that. And I mean, like me in particular too, I'm also working on trying to figure out how to gain confidence. And so it's cool to hear your perspective and your story and everything. But you were also, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, you go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think it's really cool how you're going after the things that you like, and you're starting this, and you're grown up and everything, but you're still going after your interests, which I think is awesome.
Thank you.
I want to be like you when I grow up.
Thanks.
So tell me about some of the things that you've started. You obviously have this podcast, which is amazing, super inspirational.
Thank you.
How did that start?
So that started, it was really random because for a few years I have a friend who, actually you know her, she's the one who introduced us, Tracy.
Oh yeah.
She and I would have all these conversations, and we'd be like, man, we always felt so enlightened after we talked to each other that we were like, we should do a podcast or something. And we kind of played with the idea for so long, just like how we would do it. And she had kind of started a podcast, and I think she kind of did it off and on for a little bit. But I really didn't think, oh, I'm going to start a podcast. I just always thought, well, maybe we should do something together, and we just didn't really. So I had started my company Sweatseat, and Sweatseat, I had invented the product Sweatseat, for athletic and adventurous women, so that after they get done being adventurous and playing outside or being sweaty or whatever, then they wouldn't have to like worry about like getting their car gross.
Yeah.
And so I developed a seat cover like for that purpose. And it was amazing as I got on Instagram and started like talking to the women who were interested in my product and who I would connect with on Instagram. I started thinking like, man, like these women are so impressive. They're doing such cool things. I mean, Margaret was probably one of the first people that I worked with and started talking to, and she's been training for 100-miler, but she's done 120-milers, and she's such a fun person anyway, but she's so inspiring just how much she, works on her running. And after I like her and then so many women I would see and connect with, and I thought, I just want to know their stories.
Yeah.
So I'm one of those people anyway who just has to ask questions to people when I meet them, especially if there's some kind of connection and I feel like a sense of like openness with the person, then I just want to know more about them. I want to know like how they got to where they are and what was their journey along the way. Where did they live? What do they do?
Mhm.
what are they interested in, and like what drives them, and what is their parenting style, and like whatever, like whatever. I just like to know stuff about people. And I think the
Yeah.
biggest reason is because I feel like if I can learn about you, like there's got to be something I can take away from that and like integrate into my own life. That is basically how I feel like my entire life has been, is just a conglomerate of all the people I've met along the way that I've admired, and I've taken the little things that I've admired about this person and that person and this person, and I just integrate it in my own life. And I feel like there are definitely specific things I can point back to specific people, and that's why I'm doing them now,
I love that. That's really cool.
And I feel like I am basically a painting of all the people who've, used their little paintbrush on me. Like, not, they don't even
Yeah.
know it. Most of them don't even know it. I am such a little sponge. And, and that's kind of like, so when I kind of started learning about these women, I was like, man, there has got to be so many gems that people, including myself, can take away from this. And I thought, plus I'd love to just have a community of women who are adventurous and athletic and brave, and like showcase those things, and put that out into the world, and like let these stories be known.
Mhm.
And as a force of feminine will, because I am such an advocate of women just going after the things they want and are interested in. So
That's so cool. Yeah, and I really think that when you kind of talk to people and you learn more about them and ask them questions like you do, and kind of reach those deeper conversations. It's really interesting because, for one, you obviously learn more about yourself and how you can improve, but you also create this connection with other people that you didn't realize was there, and
yeah,
you kind of that love kind of grows for them. You didn't realize it was there, but you start feeling this love for them that you didn't really have previously because they were just, oh, that's so and so, you know?
yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool.
That's really great. Anyway, so you were telling me about how you started your product. What made you kind of go into that and want to start just making this thing? Obviously, you said you ran a lot and you had the sweaty seat that you didn't want to have. I know that very well.
Yeah, well, I used to carry a towel in my car, and I always would look in my car, and I felt like I was good at keeping my car clean. Like, I would make sure I vacuumed it out and like take out whatever junk or whatever was in there. Like, I just tried to keep it nice. And
Nice.
yeah, and so like when I would see this towel that really didn't fit in, and it looked ugly, and it really didn't, I knew it wasn't really doing the job. Like, I would put a towel on the
Yeah.
seat, and I'm like, why am I putting a towel on the seat? Like, I know my sweaty butt is just going right through this. Like, I just like, I thought, well, I mean, I'm kind of helping, but I just didn't know if there was anything else on the market. I mean, so for years I just carried a towel or a picnic blanket, and just thought, like, I'll throw that up when I'm super sweaty or whatever. And it was kind of like, I didn't even know what to look for, because I knew I didn't want like a permanent seat cover on my car, because that wasn't really me. I didn't
Mhm.
I didn't really just I didn't really want that. So as I like continued as I continued just over the years, carrying that towel and kind of being annoyed at it, but just doing it anyway. I I
Mhm.
I would like, well, plus it's like once it's sweaty, it like absorbs the sweat, so it's just wet after that, and you got to figure out how to
Yeah.
dry it out, and then you take it out, but then the next time you run, you forget to put it back in, and so it
Oh
just,
yeah.
it sounds like
Uh-huh.
you can relate.
Oh yes. Very much so.
And so I was just so like annoyed, because I'm like, I just don't like this method, but I don't know what else to do. And it didn't occur to me to like go try to find something else that wasn't permanent, because I didn't even know anything didn't, existed that wasn't permanent. So, like, as a seat cover. And so I one sunny July day, like, my husband had started training for his ultra marathon, and he was like, he'd done 16 miles, and he got done and was like, Andrea, I don't think I can make it home. Like, is there any way you can come and pick me up? And I was like, yeah, no problem. So I went and picked him up with my old Subaru, like, that has fabric seats, and I didn't think anything of it until I got to him. And he is like dripping sweat, you know.
Oh no.
We're in Colorado. It's dry heat, you know. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's dry or wet heat, man. It's just like sweat because it's mid-July. And I was like, you cannot get in this car. I'm like, we got to figure out something. And luckily there was a picnic blanket in the car. And so I like got the picnic blanket and I put it on the seat, and cause you know, I have sweat marks on my car, you know, from old times and from the towel situation. And it's just like every time I go to get in it, I'm like, ugh. And so I was like, okay, put this on the seat. We used that. And then that day I was like, there was just gotta be a better way. And the same friend Tracy, like, had put it out there, like, what do you guys feel like is missing in the like athletic industry, like apparel wise? And I go, well, this isn't apparel, but what about like a temporary seat cover, you know, just something that you can put on when you're sweaty. And she's like, oh, that's such a good idea. And I was, and she was like, and then after that I was like, yeah, it is a good idea. And then I didn't think about it again for like 8 months until I'm like in the darkness of my son's, you know, I was breastfeeding my son, and it's dark, and I don't like get on my phone or anything when I'm breastfeeding because I just want it to be quiet and like I just want to think. And I'm just like in the quiet of the room. I had this like this idea, sweat seat. And I like imagined what it would look like, and then I just started. I went like as soon as I was done putting him to bed, I like went downstairs, sketched it out, and thought like, okay, now I'm going to try to make like a prototype from home. And so then I started doing that. I started making like a prototype from home, and and then that's like another story, right? Like the whole process of how I developed it. But that's basically what sparked it, was like I wanted a solution, but I didn't know how to find a solution, and I didn't know what to do. And then and I just once that idea came in February of last year, I was like, okay, I got to do something. I know I want it to be stretchy. I know I want it to be waterproof. I know I want it to cover the headrest. I know I want it to slip on enough. I know I don't want any like buckles, clips, or snaps. I know I want it to be cute. Like, those are the things I know I want it to be. I know I want it to be super compact when it rolls up. I don't want it to be bulky. I don't want it to show anywhere when I'm not using it. I just want to stick it in my car door or under my seat and not see it, like the towel. Remember how I didn't like seeing the ugly towel?
Yeah, exactly.
I just don't want to see it when I'm not using it, and I don't want to feel like I have to wash it every time. I don't want it to be like gross, like wet after. I want it to be able to just like dry itself, you know? And so
exactly.
Yeah, so like I wanted all those things, and then that's when like the whole journey of that began. So
that's cool how you kind of had all these little items that you're like, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this, and then you just went after and did it.
Yeah, well then I had to look on the market and see if anything like that already existed, you know? So I went and looked, and sure enough, it didn't. Like, there were things, but they were either super bulky, or they were too bulky for me, or they weren't soft, or you had to like clean them with a hose, like you couldn't throw them in the wash machine, or they were ugly, or they were like, or they didn't have a headrest, or they had buckles. And I'm like, I just want something like what I imagined, and I couldn't find anything, so I built it.
You just did it. Just went after it.
I just went after it.
I love that. That's so cool. So in kind of a different aspect, you were telling me about how you liked running before, and that was kind of how you started the sweat seat, was you would do runs and workouts and things that got it kind of sweaty, and you wanted that changed.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit more about your different runs that you've done?
Yeah. So my first half marathon actually was in 2007. And I had friends when I was in college, like who had done a triathlon, they'd done like a marathon, and these were all brand new terms to me. I didn't know anything about this. I was like 21, I think. I was 21 or 22. And I was,
Okay.
these friends, they were a little bit older. They were probably like 28. And they started saying things about how they'd gone and done a triathlon or they'd gone and done a marathon. I'm like, what is that? And then I was like, you go and you run for 26 miles? What?
Who are these crazy people?
And then I was like, wow. And then like my church group ended up, my church singles group like ended up doing a triathlon where you could just sign up and do like a sprint or a full. And I decided to do I like teamed up with a couple other people and we each did either the run, the bike, or the swim. I think actually I did the bike and the run, but I didn't do the swim because I wasn't, like I could swim to save my life, but I wasn't a great swimmer and I just didn't want to, I didn't feel like racing it. So I just skipped that part, which I don't know how I skipped it, but I think probably because it wasn't a real competition. But yeah, so I'd been running my whole life since I was in 8th grade. So I thought, well, I might as well like do something like this. And I was inspired by these people who were running these long distances. So I decided I was going to do a half marathon. In 2007, I did my first half marathon and it was mostly downhill and it was beautiful. I'd been training for it. I don't remember. I think I had a real training plan that a friend of mine helped me make or I found online or something. And I don't remember how I found it, but I just remember I was training and I was trying to eat well. I didn't really exactly know what that looked like, but I even remember my diet like to this day. It was like bran flakes in the morning and yogurt and berries and banana. And then for lunch I had, a chicken breast and some peas or something. And then for dinner I had like this huge smoothie. And I just like threw everything healthy that I could think of in it. And then and that's basically what I ate while I was training and I was really happy with how I did. I did an hour 45 for my first half marathon, but I think I pushed myself the last 3 miles a little bit too much and I ended up cramping up my foot. And I hurt my arch somehow because for like 3 months I couldn't really walk great, but that was I mean I didn't go see anybody for it because I was like 22 and I don't know, I guess I just wasn't I didn't think about it. I didn't think, I should maybe go see somebody. But
I can do this on my own. I'm fine.
But there was actually nobody.
I'll walk it off.
Yeah, but there's actually like no one I knew at the finish line. My parents were supposed to be there, but they ended up being about 10 minutes late. So that was a little bit sad for me, but I was really happy with how I did, and then I thought, well, I want to do another one. So I think I did another one in 2010. And then I did a couple after that. And then I did a marathon actually with your Aunt Julie.
Yeah?
Yep. So it was in 2011. It was August and she's like, "Hey, so I'm going to be running a marathon." I'm like, "Really?" And I always kind of thought, well, maybe I'll do a marathon someday. It was always sort of what I said. I'll do one someday.
Yeah. Kind of pushed it off a little bit. Someday.
Yeah. I don't really feel like running 26 miles.
Yeah, exactly.
And she goes, "Well, I'm going to do a marathon." And I was like, "Oh." I was like, "Cool, good for you." And she's like, "Well, do you want to do it?" She goes, "Do you want to do it with me?" And I was like, "Sure." and then she's like, "Well, I can send you the training schedule." And I was like, "Okay, well, I mean, I don't mean to be so non-committal, but what if I'm like, I kind of want to just start training and see how it goes. And then if I want to keep training, great. And if I don't, then I'll just stop." And she's like, "Yeah, no problem. No pressure.
Yeah.
Just, it'd be fun to run together." I go, yeah, sounds good. So then we started running together, like, I don't know how many times a week, a few times a week together, maybe once or twice together. And then the rest I was doing by myself. And the training was going really well. And then one day, like I got to it was the day I was supposed to do 14 miles. And like I was about 2 miles from my car. I'm like, "Who does this? This is so stupid. I don't like this. Why do people do this?" I'm like,
Yeah.
I haven't even done 14 miles and people do like 25 or more. I don't get it. And then I just like I never do this. I never just like give up, but I gave up. I like sat down on the side of the road and I'm like, I'm not doing this. I don't like this. I'm like by myself. And I'm like, it's just not worth it to me. And I'm like, well, Andrew, you got to get yourself to the car. So you better get up and walk to the car.
Get up and get running.
So I thought, well, I could walk or I could run and get there faster. So I just ran and got there faster. And I'm like, I'm done. I'm not doing this. So I went home and I ate and then I slept for like 3 hours because that's how much my body was just so tired. And then I went to this like this women's retreat in the mountains that day, and they were like, "Oh, where were you at this morning?" And I was like, "Well, I was napping." And they're like, "Oh, you must have been really tired." And I was like, "Yeah, I've been doing a lot of running lately." And they're like, "Oh, are you training for something?" And I was like, well, I was training for something.
As of this morning.
Yeah. And she's like, what do you mean? And I go, well, I was training for a marathon, but, today I decided I don't want to do it. And she goes, well, how many miles did you do today? And I go, 14. And she goes, well, you're over halfway there. And she goes, no pressure. But, I mean, if I were you, this is the perfect time in your life to do it. And she's like, I always wanted to do a marathon and I did one. And I just feel like, it's a great accomplishment, but like no pressure. I mean, if she goes, but I just feel like you're more than halfway there, And I was like, you're right about that.
You're like, you're right. Okay.
I'm like, well, maybe I'll reconsider it. I'm not. And see, this is just me. I'm a FOMO person, fear of missing out, but I'm also just a yes person. Like I am like, if there's an opportunity, I take it. I am just that person. And so when she's like, well, you're over halfway there, I'm thinking like, yeah, you're right. This is an opportunity. Like, I'm not, like, I could give up right now and just like not do it. But why would I do that? Like, that's a bad idea. So
I love how you had this conversation after the hard run when you were like, okay, I can do this.
I know. So I'm like talking myself back into it, although it doesn't take much to talk me back into doing something because I'm just such a yes person anyway. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it. And the next week I ran with a friend. And what's funny, okay, is that so she and I did 16 miles, this other friend, and her dad came and picked us up from our run, and he threw us both a towel and he goes, "Don't sweat on my car."
Don't sweat on my car.
That still stays with me, and look at me now. I have a company where I sell things that help people not sweat on their car.
If only he had a sweatsuit back then.
Exactly. So it's just kind of funny how like that still stands out in my mind, but that I ended up doing the marathon, and the marathon itself ended up being quite a challenge, but I ran it with your Aunt Julie, and we had so much fun. Like, we were laughing and just like literally talking the entire time. And people were like, this is a marathon. Yeah. You are having way too much fun. And we're like,
you're having too much fun.
And
that's so great.
And it was like 30-mile-an-hour headwinds, and it was raining, and but we had such a good time, and I'm glad I did it. I mean, I haven't really had much of a desire to do a marathon since. I think that half marathons are more my cup of tea, just because I don't like putting in that much time, at least, and maybe it's just a stage of my life, I don't know, but because now I have 2 little kiddos, and it doesn't fill my cup like it used to. So I think that's why one of the reasons I really want to give dance a try, because I need something that fills my cup, not that I'm just doing because I feel obligated to stay in shape, Yeah,
exactly. You want something you enjoy too.
Yeah. So I think I'm just ready for something different, and so that But that was overall it was a really good experience. I'm glad that woman showed up in my life at that moment to kind of re-encourage me to go and do it, and I'm glad I did it.
Yeah, that's perfect timing too.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
So have you learned any lessons that you've taken from all your running experiences and your previous experiences? Have you had any like integrations into parenting at all?
Oh, see, that's a good question. I think that one of the biggest lessons I learned through running and doing races was that it's a mind game, and it's really about how strong your mind is, because the more will you have, the more capable your body becomes. And
Interesting.
and and I realized that because that week that I'd done the 14 miles, I thought like this is so hard. It was like all about my mindset, right? This is so hard. Why would anybody do
Mhm.
this? This is so stupid. And then the next week, because I had flipped my mindset and said I'm going to do this and I'm just going to make it happen,
Mhm.
my 16-mile run was like awesome, and it was great.
Really?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, and it was
This
really
is-
like, yeah, because I was a little bit scared about it. I'm like, oh, okay, like last week's was kind of hard, like, but you know
Mhm.
what? I'm doing this, and I'm just gonna finish up my training. I'm gonna do the marathon, and then I'll see how I feel after that, if I want to do another one or not. And I
Yeah.
think because I had decided, and my mind was in a better place, it was in a stronger place, a place of more will. The 60 miles were blast, like they were a breeze,
You're like 16 miles.
and it
Just in my free time.
yeah, and it had and it was literally nothing more than a switch of my brain,
Wow.
because my
That's so
body,
cool.
yeah, it's not like I had gotten in more shape the next week. It was like,
Mhm.
it was literally, that was probably my biggest lesson from running that marathon. And then I realized, wow, like when people, it was like the first time, you know how people say like, oh, it's a mind game, and like, oh, it's a mind this or mind that, and it's mind over matter, whatever. And like none
Mhm.
of that really made sense until that moment in time when it did.
Cool.
When it was so obvious to me that my mind could prove like my body's capability. And I've seen that over and over with the people that I interview. Like even with you, you're like, I'm going to do these 35 miles. And you like, the most you'd run was 8. Are you kidding me? Like that's amazing. And that is your mind, because you wanted to do it and you were willing to do it. And your mind was in the right place. It's when our mind kind of gets in like like a negative state, like a no state, like I'm not doing this, that we sort of
Yeah.
we lose our will. We are what we think. And
Yeah. Very, very good.
and if we're thinking we can and we believe we can, then we will.
You'll find a way.
Yeah, you'll find a way. Exactly. Exactly. So that's
That's so
probably
cool.
the biggest thing. I think, I mean, as far as integrating it into my parenting, I don't know. I don't know. I'm sure that, like, and I'm glad you asked me that, because kind of that'll make me reflect a little bit more and think, well, how do I use maybe a lesson like that? Um,
Mhm.
but I think the biggest thing is, well, I do believe my kids can do hard things. Like, I mean, I think that, like, for me, I haven't been shy to like introduce letters, numbers, shapes, and all those things like really early on, and like teach them, because especially if they show an interest into it in it. And I believe that like my kids have been able to accomplish a lot and learn a lot, because I'm like, well, if they show any sign of interest, then they can learn it. Like they can do it. And so they are quite capable, and they've learned a lot for their ages. And I really believe that it probably has to do with, similarly, my mindset of like, hey, it doesn't matter. I mean, even you, like, you're 17 and you did a 50 miler, like that does not happen a lot, and that's really cool. And I feel like age really doesn't matter. It's all about will and interest.
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
yeah, definitely there are things that like our bodies are able to develop and become better at doing. Like I can try to teach my son, he's interested in piano, and most teachers won't teach him till he's 5.
Mhm.
But he's shown some interest, so we've done a few things, and his little fingers are tiny, but guess what? Yesterday we had this like we have this like thing called Hoffman Academy, where we've started to kind of take a look at that, and to help him maybe learn a little bit at home. he was at the big piano, the normal sized piano, and I had the YouTube channel up for him to use like the beginner first lesson. Well, his immediate reaction is he grabbed the iPad, he went down. We have this like baby piano, this like little piano. All he did that's like his size, and it works. It's just very small. He goes down and he does all the finger movements. He does everything on the tiny piano, and I thought, well, that's brilliant.
What?
Like he did it on the little piano. He couldn't do it on the big one very well, but he switched to where he knew he could do it better on the little one without any prompting from me. It was just like his interest level, right? Like he thought, well, I can't do it on the big one, so, but I think I can do it here. And then he just did. So I was like, wow. Even though his little body and his little fingers may not be fully developed for like what a teacher would say he could do, the fact that he found a way was like really, really cool for me to witness.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
You can kind of learn lessons from your kids, and
yeah,
because like that very lesson is what you learned on your run, which is really cool.
Yeah, it's pretty powerful.
Wow, that's amazing. That's so cool. Yeah, I think for me at least, a lot of times on my runs, I'll just kind of think to myself, almost like you were saying that one time when the sweatsuit just popped in your mind.
Yeah.
And I believe that's inspiration.
Yeah.
But I think just kind of thinking with yourself and having that relaxed time running is really, really cool, at least to me, to be able to just think and make those connections. And I mean, what I've learned from you a lot from just talking with you right now is just to go after the things that you want to do. Don't worry if you don't think you're ready, because I mean, you could make yourself ready if you wanted to.
Totally. Yes. 100%.
Yeah, I think that's so cool. And I don't know, have you seen in your life specific people where they've had just things they want to go after, and examples of that at all, where they've just kind of taken that leap, even though it's a big leap that they might have to take?
Yeah, actually, the first example comes to mind is my own mom. Like my own mother, she was 71 when she decided to take piano lessons for the first time in her life.
No way.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
You know, she had kind of been like her whole life wanted to take piano lessons, and then she's like, well, I'm going to just take them. And
sweet.
Yeah, so she did. And I thought that was really cool. Just another reminder that it doesn't matter how old you are. And then another thing is like she started painting again. She hadn't been, painted for years and years. And I was like, Mom, why don't you just take out your paints and, paint in some of your spare time? And she's like, oh, maybe I will. And so she did. She was like 72 when she started painting again. Now she's like painted pictures, landscapes for like all of her kids. And yeah.
That's incredible.
And, I have another kind of funny story. When I was living in California, while I was a consultant in ed tech, so I'm like mesmerized by people who are excellent roller skaters. I know that's so random. Yeah. But I decided I was going to take a roller skating class. Mind you, there are no adult roller skating classes at this rink. There are only kids ones. So like there were kids who were like 6 to 8 years old in this class, and I am there.
I love that.
And it was just so funny because we would be there and I would be taking it, and somebody probably thought I was like some kid's mom, but no, I was just there because I wanted to learn.
Yeah, you're going after it.
And that was like 4 years ago. But I really think that it really is just, you may not become, but maybe you will. That's the thing, is like you may not, like I didn't care enough about it to like go on and take all these extra classes to become excellent at it. But I really was glad that I took at least one class to kind of figure out, okay, is this something I want to continue pursuing or not? And I think that's the thing, is just giving yourself permission to try it and say, okay, is this something I'm really passionate about? Because one thing that I've learned on this podcast is, like, for example, Kaya Lola, she had never tried martial arts before, but the second she took the class, she was like oh my gosh, this is my thing. And then it changed her life. And
Yeah.
now she's like potentially going pro at it.
Wow.
And
she would have never known if she didn't try.
Exactly.
That's
and
the
then
thing.
and the thing is that I don't even remember. I don't even know if it was her class or I think it was her idea to go. It might have been her friend. It was like she went with a friend. But I think that's one of the reasons I am such a yes person. If somebody else is like, hey, you want to do this? As long as it's obviously like not harmful to you, like then yes, I'm like, it's an opportunity. I'm going to take it. If it looks, if it looks like a good thing.
Yeah.
And I think it's because you never know where you're going to find something you love. I just barely had an episode this week. The episode that's airing this week is Shelby, and she's a truck driver, and she had never driven truck or been around them at all. All she knew was like a good solid education. She was in college. She was like starting a master's degree. And then she decided, you know what? I've always had a fascination with these big trucks. And she dropped out and started truck driving, and she's loved it. Like,
really?
Yes. But
that's so cool.
But that's the thing is that, and then like Colleen Miskin, she was the very first episode. She was phenomenal. Like, she started bodybuilding when she was 42.
Wow. Yeah.
I think I learn over and over from people that your life can be as full as you want it to be. That is my conversation with Mazey. It was so fun. Oh, she was awesome. She did a great job of interviewing me, and she is just such a cool girl. I loved it. I think that's one of the things I love the most about this podcast is I really got to meet the coolest people. If you have not subscribed to Feminine Will yet, go do that now. And share it with one friend. This will uplift you every single week, I promise. Every single woman who comes on this show is going to inspire you. Guaranteed. You cannot listen to these women and not be inspired in some way. It will lift you. And follow us on Facebook and Instagram, because you're going to get to see pictures of these amazing women, and you're going to get to see them in action doing the things that they love or doing the things that are important to them. Please go write a review wherever you listen. Do you listen on Apple? Do you listen on Stitcher? Do you listen on Google? Like, where do you listen to podcasts? Because wherever you listen, please go right now. It would mean so, so much to me if you would go and write a review for this podcast. It really is one that I feel like more women need to hear. And congratulations to us. We've now hit over 1,000 downloads. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate every single one of you. Every single one of you. Thank you so much for being part of this and for just joining the community. If you have any questions or any suggestions, please go visit, just like send me an email, Andrea@sweatseat.com, SWETSEAT.com. And for those of you who did not get the memo, if you're interested in becoming an ambassador for Sweatseat, then please email me as well or go to the website and fill out a form. Thank you so much for listening, and see you next week.